It's the Two Strange Men.
Hello, welcome to another strange episode of Two Strange Men. My name is Tom McGarity.
And I'm Carl Muircroft.
Yeah, that's how you say your name, correct?
Yep.
McGarity is my surname.
And actually, I was reading up about you, Tom.
Yeah.
It's actually Tomb, isn't it?
Coombe?
Tomb.
Tomb?
No, not Coombe, no. Cut. Back to your regular podcast.
Okay, so my name is Tom McGarity, and I'm a big, stupid poo-poo head.
Yeah, and I'm Carl, and I think I'm smart.
Yeah.
That one hurt, didn't it?
That's accurate, yeah.
You're probably picking up what's happening. We are impersonating each other.
We did a Freaky Wednesday, and we swapped bodies.
As I came in, speaking of this, and this was not planned, but as I came in, there was a 10p on the table that I'm kind of like rubbing at the moment.
Go on, tap it against the mic. Now you know it's a physical object. Yeah.
Good lead-in.
Slot that up your bum.
And I just... every time. And it just kind of reminded me of those kind of like lucky objects that you find in films.
Oh, yeah.
And stuff, you know, they find
like
something.
Inception.
Yeah. But it's a good lead-in because today's topic is we're sticking with the philias, right? We're sticking with the kind of weird sort of attractions for things. So
yes.
We're continuing down the philia line.
I guess so. We're just dirty perverts. I think there's nothing.
You're a dirty pervert.
There's no other thing. You're the one that is constantly saying, "What we doing today, Cole? Fucking balloons."
Balloons. Well, that is how it started. But maybe I just want to get all this out of the way so that I can go to my real passion.
Yeah.
Which is
whatever next week is.
Whatever next week. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Come on, Tom. I know for a fact that this is your actual real passion.
Yeah.
And with that in mind, I have bought a balloon in.
Oh.
And through the beauty of sound effects, I'm going to make it seem like that's actually there. Yeah.
That's how you blow them up, right?
Bend over.
Good. So, objectophilia. For those...
well saved.
For those unversed in... different sexualities. What is I can't even say it. This is such a good start.
First of all, what is a philia? Come on, let's educate the masses.
A philia.
Yeah.
It's a term for a sexuality, right?
Like an attraction to something.
Like an attraction to something.
Yeah.
This could be a sexual attraction. It could be a romantic attraction.
Yeah.
There are many philias. There are some that people are very aware of, some that have been demonized for obvious reasons. Like one that is common when you talk about philia is necrophilia.
Yeah.
So it's one that most people are probably aware
necrophilia,
of.
that's definitely been demonized, Tom.
Yeah. Of course it has.
But rightly so.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying like it's a good thing that we should go and find a cause, but I'm saying when you think of necrophilia, you go for the extremes first, don't you? You go for the ones that people know about are the ones that are either like weird, and to everybody else a little bit silly. I mean, you know, we joked about the idea of like people fucking balloons, but actually, there's a really good documentary. Obviously, it's TLC. Because they all are, aren't they? They're all on TLC. About someone that has an attraction to balloons. Now, we kind of conjure that image of, you know, somebody with two balloons in their genitals kind of getting off, right? But actually, this person, the arousal came from the blowing up of the balloon and the popping of the balloon. That kind of instant kind of...
release.
Kind of like an orgasm, right? And somewhere along, that's what got them excited. And objectophilia is this sexual orientation to objects. And quite often in my research, it wasn't necessarily balloons. It was bigger structures, right? Cars, bridges, the Eiffel Tower, iron gates. So these were kind of really big... You okay?
I am, iron gates. Just come out with that. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. And we'll talk about this at length.
That's a thing.
But yeah, philias are a group of kind of sexualities that typically are outside of the norm of our what our collective conscious of sexuality is, right? So necrophilia, objectophilia, any other philias you want to draw. We've already discussed that we will not discuss paedophilia.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, we're two teachers. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't want people to like, chop bits up and
that's fair enough.
That's fair.
Yeah, because there's not other stuff they could clip us to high heaven. But yeah, so there's plenty of different philias, and two of those are very extreme.
Yeah.
So they're not all incredibly extreme. Some of them are, but they're the ones that kind of rise to the surface, right?
Before we go into
Vorophilia?
I'm not necessarily finished with them talking about balloons. To be honest with you, like,
is this going to be an hour of you talking about the sensation of popping?
What's that? That those balloon tamers that you get at parties and stuff. What do you call them?
Balloon wranglers.
Balloon wranglers. They turn them into animals and stuff.
Yeah. What are they called?
I don't know. We come well researched. No,
sometimes they're called balloon artists, aren't they? So I took my son to a museum and they had a balloon artist there.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
And it was just a guy making like swords and dogs.
I mean, to be fair, if if you hold that power like behind closed doors, like what are they doing? Do you know what I mean? Like, to tame a balloon into any sort of, like, you're basically playing God.
You're a fucking idiot. What is going on? For context, guys, this is the end of the year for us, and I am done. Like,
you keep telling me you hate me.
Yes, I do.
But anyway, so getting back on subject. So, like, first of all, they create like balloons out of things that are just very long phallic objects.
I mean, you're making them phallic. They're not phallic.
They definitely are phallic.
They're just long.
Have you never seen a phallus? Like, do you know what I mean? It's the same shape.
No, well, no, because like if you're talking about being phallic, it should have the stand, like the balls.
Yeah, all you have to do is like twist that like 3 times, and then you've got a pair of balls.
I suppose so.
And all you have to do is fold it in half, and then you've got a vagine. So, do you know what I mean? Like, the temptation for them to be at home with their balloons and stuff like that, go, you know what, I couldn't I? I could just give it a go.
Have you ever touched a balloon?
Huh?
You ever touched a balloon?
Yes.
Like, that material's not. It's not good.
Spread a bit of butter on that, you'll be fine.
Butter? Why not oil? Why butter?
Why a balloon, Tom?
Yeah.
Why are you saying butter's weird? All right, we're talking about balloons, all right?
Yeah.
What if people are like sexually attracted to different types of food? Does that come up in your research? Are people like sort of like going around to grandma's house and poking it in the butter?
We kind of talked about the idea of eating, didn't we, in vorophilia?
Yeah.
So I would imagine that the fetish around food would be something similar.
Yeah.
To the idea of eating and consumption. Because you have like food play, don't you? Which to me is like the grossest thing ever.
Why is it the grossest thing ever?
Because like you always see in like movies and TV, and it's really fun. Just put like a strawberry there, and it might like get a bit squashed, and but the reality is that's gonna go into places that you shouldn't be going into.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be sweaty.
Oh, you're talking about the real tame stuff. You're talking about, tickle someone with a chocolate-covered strawberry.
Well, that's what they show.
A bit of whipped cream.
Well, that's what they show, right?
Yeah.
A little bit of fun. But then, like, food play itself is probably not going to be... It's probably going to be, like, porridge on your stomach.
Porridge isn't sexy.
How is a strawberry sexy? How is chocolate sexy?
Is that how they do it up north?
Have you ever had chocolate melt on you?
Is that how they do it up north? Just fucking porridge. There you are.
But
done.
Have you ever had chocolate melt on you, like Baxton? I don't think, oh, God, that turns me on. I think, fuck's sake, that's dirty. I don't want it on me. Like, if my wife's coming in with a punnet of strawberries, like, that better be for eating. Because there's no way that I'm kind of dipping that strawberry juice on someone's skin. It's fucking dirty.
No, strawberry juice is not dirty.
It's
like
dirty.
Strawberries are very like phallic and stuff like that, aren't they?
No, they're not.
They are.
They're balls with a tip.
Well, what do you want? That's what you want, isn't it?
What, balls with a tip?
Yeah.
No, I don't want to eat balls.
Do you know that there's like videos online? Like I might have come across one in the past
Right.
that like it's a lot more extreme than just like a strawberry and a bit of chocolate.
Yeah, but that's the bit where I'm just like, no. And there are textures that should not go on the body.
What, like baked beans?
Oh, like why?
I just worry about like whoever these people are that are like in the paddling pools and then custard's getting tipped on them and stuff like that.
Why are they in
Like,
the paddling pool?
Like because it's a lot of food that gets
No.
that's what I'm talking about. You obviously haven't seen that sort of stuff.
No.
But like I always worry about like how long it will take them to like wash their hair and stuff. Yeah.
They probably don't, little freaks.
Jesus. If I get baked beans in my hair, I'm washing it.
I feel more offended by this than philia. I'm more aggressive about this than people eating people.
Yeah. But this is specifically looking at objects. Inanimate objects is pretty much how you would describe objectophilia.
I'm going to be less judgmental now.
Yeah.
Right, ready? I'm going to stand up and I'm going to leave the room. I'm going to come back less judgmental.
I can add the sound effects in, mate. You don't have to do that. Here I go, off I go. I'm closing the door.
Right, so that was a good walk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot that post-production exists.
What did you even want to leave the room for? I've forgotten.
I'm no longer judgmental.
Oh, no longer judgmental, yeah.
I'm open to
Wait a minute,
everything.
that's a good idea. I'm going to go. I'm off to go. Da, da, da. Close the door. Open the door. All right, I'm back.
We're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz.
The non-judgmental Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, because he's a bit of a dickhead, isn't he?
What? I mean,
The
to be
wizard.
fair, I think everyone else judged him. Like, once they saw behind the curtain that he was the one that was being judged. I've not seen Wicked. I don't know what that's like. Like, Jeff Goldblum. Like, not interested. I don't know.
I haven't seen Wicked either.
I haven't seen it. It's meant to be Wicked, though.
Yep, good. So, in my effort to be less judgmental, I'm just gonna go, yep, good from now on.
You're doing it to me a lot today. It's because you don't like me.
Yeah, I'm mentally fatigued.
I think next week what we need to bring in a therapist.
Yeah,
Maybe that's what
a mediator on the third mic.
Absolutely.
Just be like, what Cal really means.
We invite back the liposuction demon, and he can be the mediator.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Anyway, go on. Tell us a fact about objectophilia.
So, I do have the definition here, which we've kind of like skirted around, but I just want to get this in so that people learn something. So, the actual definition of objectophilia is a sexual orientation where individuals experience emotional, romantic, or sexual feelings towards what is considered an inanimate object.
Yes.
So this can be quite broad in its definition, but the object has to be inanimate.
Okay, but does this also include real sex dolls?
See, this is where it gets complicated.
Yeah.
Because usually we talk about objectophilia in the idea of that the object itself stirs those feelings. If that object is a sex toy, I'm not sure it fits the classic description.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because that object is designed by design to be sexual in nature.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So things like dildos and vibrators and stuff, I don't think they fit this.
So we're just talking about things, and it's an odd way. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I think this is just like it's one of those things that might end up being so broad if you break it down that there's no point in actually classifying it. But for the purpose of this and for the purpose of the stories that you get through the media and stuff like that about this, it's like, well, this is obviously objectophilia. But
and for our clarification for what we're talking about, so a really good example is you've got a laptop in front of you. that laptop is capable of showing loved ones porn, like material that you might have a sexual attraction to, but you're not attracted to the laptop. Those feelings are not for the laptop. Same with a sex toy, right? That will benefit you, that will give you pleasure, but you're not in love with it.
Yeah.
That is its function, rather than, and the distinction is the emotional connection.
Okay.
So yes, you might be because there are people out there that might use inanimate objects to give them pleasure. Let's say a pillow.
Yeah.
Right? Or they might find something to give them pleasure in some way, shape, or form. That is not objectophilia because there is no emotional connection there. That is just using something for a purpose.
Okay. Okay.
So that's the distinction.
But Henry Hoover.
Right.
Is this the Venn diagram?
Yes. So emotional. Let's talk about emotional connection.
Because he's got that tube and he's got that wry smile on his face.
Individuals with objectophilia may feel a deep emotional connection and strong feelings of love and commitment towards their chosen object. So they're not using it for that purpose alone. They actually genuinely care about it.
Yeah.
So that's where I make the distinction between something that's being used for sex and objectophilia.
Yeah.
Because you might let's just kind of go down the rabbit hole and be a little bit gross. You might use a cucumber to relieve yourself. But you're not in love with it.
I
You're
actually
using it
used
as
a cucumber to relieve myself just earlier. You watched me do it.
He ate it.
Relieve my hunger. Do you get it?
Yes. But you're not emotionally connected to that cucumber.
I was.
Once it's done, you get rid of it.
I cried the whole time.
And that's that is the so the end goal isn't sex; it's to have a relationship with the object.
It's the emotional connection. So synesthesia, or specifically object personification synesthesia, is what we're looking at. Yeah. I mean, like, the idea of, like, synesthesia is attached to the feeling you get of nostalgia as well. Like, that emotional connection to things, is often, is often the case.
Yeah, and you can kind of see what's interesting about that as well is we often connect things with our, how we feel about the world and what we're attracted to, and how we govern ourselves is often put with our early experiences, but quite often there's quite a lot of discourse around saying that objectophilia is more likely in those that have had troubled childhood. So there is no study or connection that's proved that. So in terms of this, there doesn't seem to be a reason. So there was a study done that suggests a potential link between autism, with objectophiles often having higher rates in autism and stronger autistic traits. But it is not classified as a trait, and it's not classified as a mental illness, and it doesn't seem to be linked to any particular event in people's lives. So, really, they don't know why some people become attracted to and pursue relationships with objects.
I mean, like, that autism thing is interesting. That would probably explain why there's so many Victorian era love poems about trains.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear some?
I would love to.
Okay, so Walt Whitman in 1876 wrote "To a Locomotive in Winter." Fierce-throated beauty, rolled through my chant with all thy lawless music, thy swinging lamps at night. While not exactly a love poem, it's filled with admiration and a near mystical awe. But I've got another one for you.
Can you give me that first one again?
What?
Give me the first one again.
Okay. fierce throated beauty, roll through my chant with all thy lawless music, thy swinging lamps at night.
Okay.
I mean, swinging lamps, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's very
I'm just trying to get the symbolism
entendre,
across.
innuendo-y.
It's like Carry On Camping before Carry On Camping.
Yeah. Okay, the Iron Horse. Okay, this is anonymous, but it was circulated in 19th century pamphlets, apparently.
Okay.
O faithful beast of smoke and fire, who bears me hence with hot desire, I kiss thy wheels, thy blackened hide, my steely love, my metal bride.
That's intense, isn't it?
Yeah. Christopher Morley did one. Do you want one about a typewriter?
Oh, go on. Lay it on me.
So a 1919 poem to a typewriter. The keys are kissed with clattering joy, as if my soul you might deploy. You know me better than my friends, and take my truths from end to end.
I could literally see him like orgasm, like
I mean,
end to end. Oh,
yeah. He's typing that on it as he's writing that as well.
that's a lot, isn't it? That's a lot. And if you want to clip that and take that for your own, there you go. That's my gift to you. I made him do one of them twice.
That's good. We can ask you to put that to music and appropriate visual treats.
Yeah.
And specifically, we're looking for some swinging lamps. That would be nice to see.
that look like tits.
Oh, and thy blackened hide.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of room in thy blackened hide.
Yeah, we could do a lot, yeah. But make everything look like tits.
That's it. Okay, so like a real sex doll with Thomas the Tank Engine's face.
I'm so scared about the picture for this week. Like, I'm so worried about it.
So like what? Like that Venn diagram. Henry Hoover and Thomas the Tank Engine.
Like, why are you pulling out this Venn diagram? Why are you like this?
I think because I had a troubled childhood.
Right.
And this has awakened something in me.
Right, okay.
A general interest in like psychology.
Facts and factoids.
Strange facts.
So, speaking of, my research led me down a path.
Of course it
did. Not one I'm attracted to, just to put it out there. But this is really interesting because usually when you... I'm just dying, folks.
He's got the balloon stuck.
Yeah, like right lodged in there.
Yeah.
Carl's loving it. Usually, yeah, it's coming. We breathe it out. It's
all right. I am not going to edit any of this out. Let's carry on.
This is actually going to be the bit that's going to be played the most. People are like, love this. This is real meta.
There's a philia going on there.
Carl's eyes are so wide right now. It's actually really concerning.
There's probably like, you know, a sexual like attraction to people who are sick, right?
Or choke, like coughing, choking, being sort of like, okay, there probably is, you know, you little pervert. you just, yeah. Oh, it's funny, isn't it? Because almost anything that we interact with, there is there's a sexual fetish for it.
Yeah, hopefully not the what's the word? What are they called? The plugs and stuff like that in the walls and stuff.
Yeah, well.
Although you told me a story once.
I did.
Fact. Yeah.
Probably not one we can say here, because it was about a student.
Yeah.
I was not involved.
Yeah.
But there's some freaky freaks out there.
Yeah, sure. Let your imagination run wild.
Yeah, you can have that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when I was like looking up for the episode, I came across a quite prominent figure in the sort of objectophilia kind of space, which she calls kind of OS awareness. And let me just find.
I know who this is. Is this Erica Eiffel?
It is.
It's the lady who married the Eiffel Tower. She founded a group called OS International.
Yeah. Do you remember what OS meant?
Object sexuality.
Yes, that was
must be that, right?
I'm sure that's what it was.
Yeah.
Just got the abbreviations.
But like, as a person, Erica Eiffel is actually quite interesting.
Yeah.
Did you look into her backstory?
Yeah, I went quite deep into kind of like so she. And
I mean,
what I found,
so did she if she married the Eiffel Tower. But carry on.
Yeah. What's really interesting about Erica that I think separates her from some of the subjects in kind of like the documentaries that I've seen, like the TLC ones, she is a really how do I put it, like accomplished
Person,
marksman, martial artist.
Yeah.
You know,
I assume she lived in Japan for a while because she seemed to be attached to like competitions and stuff like that, and I think she founded a either like some sort of dojo or archery thing in Japan and stuff like that. She's done some really notable things alongside marrying the Eiffel Tower.
And and she's so interesting. And what is a little bit sad is most references to her aren't about the amazing things she's accomplished. It's about the fact that she's married the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
What is good to have a clear distinction of for the viewers right now is that you cannot legally marry an object in France or America.
Yeah.
So while she did take the name Eiffel,
Yeah,
in reference to it, and she says she's married to it, there is no legal distinction that the Eiffel Tower is married to anybody.
Yeah.
You cannot marry a non-consenting object.
Of course. Yeah. But
as-
then again, if we're going to go down that route and you can't marry it, you're allowed to own it.
Well, that's it. That is an interesting thing, isn't it? Because like, who owns the Eiffel Tower?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But there was a lady that like married a roller coaster, apparently. Again, it's like the legalities of this I don't know, but did she at least ask permission from the roller coaster's owner?
Yeah, kind of like how you used to ask your partner's parents.
Yeah.
Beforehand.
But also, if we're going through this idea of like consenting and stuff like that, like, is the roller coaster a slave for that owner?
But also, if you marry a roller coaster, and they're like, "Oh yeah, no, that's fair enough. Like, you get to own it." Does that mean you get to like dictate what it does?
Yeah.
Like, you go, "No, I don't want anyone to ride it today."
Yeah.
Because that's an insane amount of power letting people have, right?
Yeah. But me and Henry, okay? Henry does consent. And I know this because he's got a lovely smile on his face whenever I ask him something.
I smile.
A suggestive smile.
I smile at you. Doesn't mean that I'm happy with what's going on. I'm smiling right now.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I want to suck your dick.
You mean clean my room? Like, that's what I'm using it for. Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, moving on. Good.
It's good to know.
Yeah.
I'm glad we got that out there.
So why I thought that distinction was a good thing to bring up, because although she's done all this amazing stuff, and you mentioned about like Japan, so her connection to Japan started with her archery career in 1999. So I imagine she did spend a lot of time there, and she's been an Olympian for archery throughout the years. But you search her name, and there's just so much kind of like social discourse around her. So much so that there was a kind of viral TikTok about her in 2023. Do you know this?
No.
That basically said the woman married to the Eiffel Tower is divorcing the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
She's now marrying a fence. I can't even say that. She's now marrying a fence. And there's a clip from an old documentary where she's stroking an iron fence.
Yeah.
And basically everyone's like, "Oh no, she's cheating on the Eiffel Tower." It's not true. As far as Eiffel is aware, as in Erica Eiffel.
Yeah, no. The tower, Eiffel Tower, is not aware of shit.
As in Erica Eiffel is still sort of married to the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
so that's really interesting how they took that and it became like a fake news story. And whenever you look up kind of her achievements and who she is as a person, as an advocate, it's very much about kind of like her sexual attraction.
Yeah.
And she isn't the only artist.
To be fair, it's the most interesting, like, headline gaining thing that she's done, isn't it? Like, let's face it.
I mean, you'd be like, oh, she's natural and she's a martial artist. Then you'd be like, oh, little side note before you go meet her.
Yeah.
She is married to the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, but like, there's so many like amazing archers and martial artists and stuff. I don't know their names, but I know her name because she married the Eiffel Tower. Yeah.
She is not the only artist. She's not the only, like, sort of bohemian character that has married. There's an artist, Tracy Emin, if you know that artist.
I do know Tracy Emin. She needs to tidy her room.
Famous. She married a rock. So,
no, it's The Rock, Dwayne Johnson.
No, she married a rock.
A rock.
A rock.
But that's okay. She could do that, right?
I mean, it doesn't. The legalities of the rock doesn't seem to be discussed.
Yeah, but that's not sexuality. Tracy Emin is not like sexually attracted to that rock.
You think she did it as like a?
She's an artist who does very unconventional pieces of art.
Yeah, true.
That's what she's doing. Do you know what I mean? She's not like.
She's trying to hone in on Erica's territory.
She's making Erica a laughingstock. To be honest with you, no, she's turning it into a bit of a skit.
Come on, Tracy, you do better. That's not very nice, is it?
I mean, this is what I'm assuming because I know what she's like, but
you know, do you?
Yeah. I've seen her work. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
so you've seen her work. You're in a workshop. Just
absolutely, mate. No,
kissing them up.
At the Tate and all of that shit.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, look, if I would want to visit her at her home and like meet her husband, and be convinced otherwise, I'm totally fine with doing that. While she's holding the rock's hand, she's talking about all the things that they do together and everything like that. Then they're fine.
So basically, you'd be like, when you get like a traditional Christian wedding, you'd be the priest that has those kind of like, are you ready to get married sessions?
Yeah.
And you'd be like, an immigration officer, where you're like, prove you love them.
I was thinking more of like an arranged marriage sort of like situation where you meet first beforehand. Okay. I provide the rock to her family, and then so on and so forth.
That's mad.
Yeah.
So, because we're an informational podcast,
are we?
Are we?
Are we even pretending these days?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna pretend for 2 minutes.
I mean, you've learnt today that someone married the Eiffel Tower. Like,
yeah.
I don't know what else you want.
Well, I'm about to give you some actual, like, proper information. And usually, this is you, right? But, like, I'm coming in big Barry Bollocks here. And I'm like, no, I'm gonna prove to people I'm not just there scratching my head and saying weird stuff. I'm about to bring the noise.
Yeah, okay, bring the noise, mate.
Can you maybe, like, do what they do in radio and give me a doodle-doo or air horn? Yep, knew that was going to be the case. So, are you ready? Are you ready? No, as in you, Carl. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
So, in 2009, Amy Marsh, are you aware of her?
No, I've got an Amy Wolf. But you carry on, Amy Marsh.
Well, Amy Marsh is a clinical sexologist. So probably someone you should meet with. She surveyed
the sexiest of jobs going.
So
well, I'm a clinical sexologist.
Well, did you little bit of a tangent? I can't help myself. Little bit of a tangent. Did you watch that Netflix show?
Is it the one Sex Education with Gillian Anderson? No.
And there's a sexologist, and she just like oozes.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like, come on.
Again, she's making a laughingstock of people who are sexologists for a living.
Ridiculous.
Emphasis on dick.
I'm very proud of this podcast.
Dick.
So Amy Marsh, clinical sexologist, a real one.
Yeah.
Surveyed the 21 English-speaking members of Erica Eiffel's 40-strong OS International.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to call it International.
Okay.
About their experiences.
Yeah.
So, just for context, just over half, but these were all the ones that were English speaking.
Yeah.
About half reported autism spectrum disorder. 6 had been diagnosed. 4 were affected but not diagnosed, and 3 of the remaining 9 reported having some traits. According to Marsh, the emotions and experiences reported by OS people correspond to general definitions of sexual orientation.
Yeah.
Such as in an APA article on sexual orientation and homosexuality, which refers to sexual orientation as involving feelings and concept of the object. So I just thought that was really interesting. That of the ones that Amy was able to kind of talk to and delve deeper, more than half had some link to autism.
Yeah, but how many are anime fans?
It doesn't quite delve into that.
Yeah.
The sort of I'm sure there's more data within the thing itself.
I think quite a lot of them might be anime fans if they're of a certain generation. You know.
What if like the only people that listen to this podcast are anime fans and we've just like absolutely bugged them off?
Well, they must be enjoying all of the shout outs. Yeah. Shout out to you crazy anime fans, weebs.
Yeah, like stop misappropriating the culture, you fuck.
I mean, you're an anime fan. You're one of those degenerates, aren't you? That are into all of this stuff.
Yeah, but it's kind of like I'm a comic book fan, right?
Yeah.
But I don't. Oh, can I say this on air? Yeah, fuck it. I don't frequent those spaces. I don't tend to go into comic book shops or conventions.
Right. Okay. Yeah. You get it all mail order.
Not because I don't like that thing. I don't like some of the fandom.
Okay.
So I'll tell you a bit of a story. It'll only take a couple of minutes. Strap in, folks.
Yeah.
So there's a really nice comic book shop in our town.
Yep.
And I went in there once, and so I used to have a box in there, and they would always put my comics like sort of in.
Oh yeah.
In this box.
Reserved for you.
Yeah. They're super nice, and I was in there, and a lady came in.
Yeah.
For context, quite a good looking lady.
Oh.
Probably in kind of like her late 20s.
Yeah.
And she came to the desk and said to the lady that was working there, just really politely, like, and this is going to be a slight on the staff, by the way. I'm not digging anyone out. Said to the lady, like, my boyfriend's really into comic books, and it looks interesting, but I don't know where to start. Which, great, this is why these places exist, right? So she started giving her recommendations, some really good recommendations as well, like some really like good indie stuff, some popular stuff from Marvel, some Dark Horse, just really kind of broadening out and going, what are you into? Like, you know, no judgment, tell me what you're into, stack of books there.
Yeah.
Like, I'll even let you sort of like have a look at one.
Okay.
You know, see, which was really nice.
Yeah.
This guy, this stereotypical like neckbeard, just comes over and starts.
But he's not a worker there. He's just some guy hanging
just
around.
some bloke.
Yeah.
Comes over and just starts to be awful and gatekeeping all of these. Like, you won't be interested in that. You're more interested in like, you know, fashion. And obviously, like the staff member handled it really well.
Yeah.
So it wasn't an issue, and it's like, you know, back off sort of thing. Like, people can be into whatever they want to be.
Yeah.
And he was just like, no, well, you're setting her up with stuff she's not going to like.
Right.
And he was getting really kind of just like twatty about it. And I saw him in there all the time, and him and his group of friends would just walk around, putting their nose up like, oh, they've come out with this book again. You know the type.
Yeah, but it's very similar to like, you know, the typical like toxic gamer sort of thing.
Yeah.
You know, you had Gamergate and that sort of thing. It's a lot of like, you know, hatred for the other gender, etc.
And I just don't enjoy that.
Yeah. It's
like, I enjoy what I enjoy, and I feel like, you know, you put your fandom aside, right?
Yeah.
If that person is genuinely interested, whether they like it or not, that's their choice to make.
Yeah.
And you will never get more people into these types of things by behaving like that, and you want it niche, but the artist doesn't want it niche. The artist wants to live.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, like,
so gates open, come in. Like,
particularly
everyone.
like indie publishers, when people are like, "Oh, don't buy that," that's my secret little publisher. Well, that publisher's not going to exist because you're an asshole. Like that little book that you're not telling anyone about.
Yeah.
That they're not going to get a second book because you've decided that that's your little secret.
But people get worried that, like, their thing will enter then the mainstream and then it will be changed because of it.
But there's a person behind the thing that still needs to be paid.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, so I don't delve into those kind of waters. I can't remember why we got onto that.
That's okay. That's okay. It's lovely to know.
This
which
is now
side your bread is buttered.
This is now my therapy podcast.
Is it?
Yeah,
that's next week. We're doing that. Okay, so we've been your point's finished, right? With the sexologist lady.
Yes. Cool. Amy's left.
Cool. She's gone. Bye.
That's
Amy
leaving.
Yeah. So, I just mentioned that there was another lady, Amy Wolf, who European, either German or Dutch, married a fairground ride. She reported feeling butterflies when she was near it. She kissed it, talked to it daily, and took part of it home to say emotionally connected.
Okay, what part did she take?
I don't know.
Like a bolt? Can you imagine if it broke down because she stole a bolt?
Did she ask someone? You'd hope so. But anyway, like moving on. There's an interesting sort of like cultural parallel between this sort of synesthesia, object sexuality thing that Erica Eiffel is sort of championing, and a cultural aspect of the Shinto faith in Japan. So quite interesting. Erica Eiffel was in Japan for a while. Don't know if this was anything to do with that at all. But essentially, there's the idea of veneration of objects. So I'm going to absolutely butcher this. So I'm gonna try it anyway. Sukumogami.
Why do you always do this?
Sukumogami.
It's like you don't want to be wrong, so you're just like, I'm gonna lean in.
You gotta lean in. Like, words come with accents, okay? I'm not being racist by saying it with the accent.
And then
that's how it's meant to be said.
Back to episode 3 where you're like, I'm not racist, and then do the worst Mexican, like, hi. Like it?
We should just have a supercut of every time I say I'm not racist. Yeah. But believe me, I'm not racist.
It'd be a whole show.
So anyway, Sukumogami is the idea that a household item gains spirits after 100 years. Now, I wouldn't be able to tell you exactly the breakdown of that, but that's just in my notes at this point in time. I don't necessarily know if this is specific to, like specifically how many spirits you have or specifically how many years it has, but if you have something in your household for so long, it will become like part of the family that you venerate. And it's just like an interesting sort of philosophy, and I think a lot of the time when you've got like Japanese like folklore and stuff like that, it's nicely attached to the real world in a way that I quite like they're not necessarily believing that there's actual spirits and stuff like that, but the spirits are there to represent certain things. Like you feel like a reciprocal relationship with something that is old enough. Yeah, it's always been there, sort of thing, or at least it's possible. I do really like that. They can be like rocks and tools and things like that can be enshrined after a while and honored as kami. So it's their word for like spirits or gods and stuff like that. Okay. Quite interesting. Do you have anything like that in your house?
So with that in mind...
Oh, carry on. I'll ask you that question later.
Yeah, with that in mind, if they are sacred...
Yeah.
And they hold this kind of, spiritual place.
I know what you're saying. Can you fuck them?
Yeah, like, surely that's offensive, right? Like, if you had so I'm playing this game at the moment.
Yeah.
And the save system works as a shrine, and there's this little like cat spirit that sits on top of it.
Yeah.
right? And it's like sacred. But if you just like climbed up and like went in on the cat, all the townsfolk would be like, mate, what are you doing?
Well, yeah, I mean, like, I'm not saying that this is an objectophilia. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that this is like an object worship.
There's a connection there.
Yeah. I would definitely not recommend having sex with any shrine objects, anything that you think could have a kami. Yeah. Although, what if it's a very old sex device that's been around for so long that they feel like, well, this has got like a spirit.
Going back to one of our first episodes, like one of the first dildos made by the Victorians to stop hand cramps.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That, nowadays, if that's knocking around, that's obviously got a few cami in there.
Yeah.
Bit of cami. So, yeah,
do you want to ask your question now? I'm ready.
Okay, so do you have any objects in your house that you feel have that cami presence in him?
I don't think I have anything old enough to be considered like sort of that spiritual. A lot of the stuff in my house is new.
Yeah.
Well, newish.
I mean, like I think you hold on to things in our culture. It's very simple. You know, you hold on to things that are passed down. You hold on to keepsakes and trinkets and stuff like that.
My in-laws.
Yeah.
So my family.
Yeah.
Have nothing. Just burn through everything that they own.
Yeah.
But my in-laws, I wouldn't say they're hoarders, but they've kept sentimental items. So this weekend, for example, we all have a shared love of books.
Yeah.
And they have these amazing like history of the world books from like early 1900s.
Yeah.
And they were saying like, oh, when Luke is older, we'd love to gift some of them to him and to my son. Which I wouldn't recommend at the moment because he bashes things. I got this image of him breaking all these, but it won't be like that forever. But they are beautiful and like really old and like really.
Are we talking
really
about like Velveteen Rabbit sort of shit that like wouldn't last these days?
Yeah, like hand bound books that were clearly like printed on a press in the 1800s.
Yeah.
There's like pictorial histories of the world and all this kind of like really really cool stuff, like all printed in like late sort of 1800s, early 1900s. And they feel special when you walk past them. Like there's an air of importance to them. They're really cool. Like they're really cool.
So it's easy where you can see where these sort of thought processes came from and how they fix into tradition and stuff.
There's revenants there, definitely.
But yeah, not objectophilia.
I don't want to fuck those books.
Don't want to fuck those books. No.
That's another t-shirt. Don't fuck the books, kids.
Read them books first, at least.
Yeah.
Before you get those desires.
Yeah.
Right. If you could have sex with an object or marry that object, sex, marry, kill, what objects are they?
I'm just going to be like, I don't know, Cal, because my brain doesn't work like this. This is always a boring segment because it's like, well, no. And then you go, well,
you got to play into it, haven't you? You got to do better.
If it was for me, I'd shove my glasses up my ass. That's where it's going to go, isn't it?
Fine.
What about you?
I wanted another opportunity to mention Henry. I'm going to write a poem about Henry right now.
Go on.
Oh, faithful beast of suck and cleanliness.
Are you just taking the thing and just that's misappropriation, surely.
Who bears me hence with soft desire, I kiss thy tube, thy blackened wheels, my steely love, my metal bright. Nah, it's just the other one. My plastic groom, because he is a man. His name's Henry.
But there is a girl variant.
Yeah.
If that makes you feel better.
Okay, all right. Well, in the description of this podcast, I have actually written my poem to Henry. So
you haven't.
So you can actually... I haven't yet, because we're still recording, but it will be there.
No, it won't.
It will be.
I will go into the account and delete it.
No, it's there. So if you do, just go onto your podcast app, look at the description, and that's the one.
And you keep looking at the description because it will be changed and then uploaded and changed and uploaded.
like the Wild West of Wikipedia.
Yeah.
No. So yeah. Now next week, shall we take a little bit of time because we haven't really thought about this? I quite like the idea of objectophilia without the sex. To be honest with you, I like the idea of...
Yeah, we didn't really delve into this idea of kind of like... Because we just kind of look... And which you naturally do. We just kind of looked at the sexual attraction element, didn't we? But a lot of this is actually about the kinship, and the emotional attachment.
Yeah.
Which we didn't really delve into because obviously the sex part is the interesting part, isn't it? We always gravitate to the part that we're puzzled by.
Yeah. But no, I mean, like, I specifically, because we're trying to like link from topic to topic, I don't necessarily think there's going to be enough for us to look directly at Tsukumogami again, but we could at least look at the idea of maybe like household spirits or something like that, totally get away from the sex.
I'm happy to get away from sex for a week.
Yeah. So what will it be?
Call me celibate Tom.
Yeah. It's been a couple of weeks now, you dirty pervs. We've satisfied your fresh summer desires, okay?
Yeah.
We're going to get back onto more serious topics now. Well, they're not going to be serious, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're going to be exactly the same, but less sex.
Going away from sex and back into gods, baby.
Yeah, I guess so. Mythology and stuff like that. And then occasional little sprinkles of sex.
Because, that's how life works.
That's it, yeah.
You get through your day, you pray to your God, and occasionally you get sex.
And you bang your wife.
Yeah. Or whoever you want to bang, because,
If they're consenting.
Yeah.
Or whatever roller coaster you want to bang.
Yeah, just don't take the bolts out because...
Ask the owner
people
first.
Die,
yeah.
People die, folks.
Maybe that's what you're getting off at.
Oh, mate, that's sick. Right, that's such a macabre end.
No. Something else.
Quick, go. Wait, I'm leaving.
Bye, everyone. Bye, coming.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. Here's a disclaimer. We are not experts. We can easily get things wrong in an episode. Our intention is to explore and open up the possibilities for further exploration. Come find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram and YouTube. We would love some interaction. Also, if you can consider supporting us on Patreon, that will help a bunch. Search for 2, that's number 2, Strange Men Pod, all one word. Until next time, keep it strange.